I don't know. It was like, hey guys, Victoria here, and welcome to the Geeky Sandbox. As I promised, we are back, and we are going to be talking about our least favorite movies of the year, and some are pretty terrible. But you know what? We knew the risk, and we sat down and we watched them. This includes movies that I went to go see in a theater, as well as movies that I got to watch from home. All right. So this is a list of all the movies that I've got to watch this year, starting from my most recent, maybe most recently rated. Let's see. I always forget to set up the filter. So newest rated first. So there are going to be a couple movies on here that are new and some of them that are from like 2022 because I was on a 2022 binge. Fear. I really didn't want to dislike Fear because I wanted to be able to like enjoy the group of actors that they brought together. But I thought that Fear was a pretty awful movie. I gave it 1.5 geeks, mainly because I liked the idea of what they were trying to do. I just thought that the acting in some places was a little funky. I just thought the script was wonky and a little all over the place. I say a little, it was a lot all over the place. It was a lot. I remember talking about it on Twitch and talking about it with a friend after I watched it, and I was just in shock. I think there was a lot of potential there, and I think that's what's disappointing because there are horror movies who have executed that idea like very smoothly, but I think that there was just something that they just missed the mark with that movie. Beautiful Disasters, I gave a 1/2 star. It is the cringiest movie that I've ever seen. Ever. I mean, I'm a sucker for the trope of like good girl falls for the bad boy. You know, I've had my fan fiction writing days. I've had my Wattpad. I don't know. It was like, it was quite literally one of the worst movies I've seen this year. And primarily because I was like, why did I put myself through this? I was far more interested in seeing Abby, our main character, learn a little bit more about her poker background and see that come into play a little bit more versus being saved by this bad boy. I don't know. It almost felt like, why is he here? No disrespect to Dylan Sprouse. I thought he leaned into the role pretty nicely, but this movie, some of the choices the characters made didn't make sense. And this is coming from someone who has not read the book. So maybe there's something there that I'm like missing, but it just wasn't for me. Okay. I can't forget this one. The Tutor. I really wanted to like this movie because I was like, okay, definitely gives like Lifetime kind of vibe. So The Tutor, let me walk you through this really quick. The Tutor 2023, which is directed by Jordan Ross, is a movie about a guy who takes a professional tutoring job for a rich kid. And there's some problems there. The rich kid doesn't like him. His cousin doesn't like him. And it's because this kid believes that this man did something to somebody else that he cares about, an adult and another adult in his life. And you're trying to figure out, is it true or not? Victoria Justice plays Garrett Hedlund's wife in this movie, and I just thought the writing was very bad. I don't like saying that, like I feel so bad, but it wasn't like so bad that it's good. It was just bad. So Ten and Tina. So after a mother or a woman has a very traumatic miscarriage, her husband encourages her, hey, are you in a place now where you think you'd be open to adopting? And they adopt these two very religious fanatics named Ten and Tina is what they end up calling them. And this movie, I think I gave it a 2 because I thought the idea was pretty good and I thought the performances were fine. The way the ball was dropped halfway through gave me Ryan Murphy, American Horror Story halfway through a season vibes. And that really hurt me because I was wanting a little bit more from it, but it just didn't quite deliver. The Strays, I remember talking to my friends about this after we watched it together. And I remember being like, why did we have to villainize the darker skinned Black people? Story didn't really, like, I don't need my stories to have a nice happy ending. I don't need it to make complete sense as long as it's well done. Like, I don't have to sit there and be like, oh yeah, da 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 da. I am okay with being left with a bit of mystery so the way I can talk to people about it. But with this one, it did leave us talking about it, but it left us talking about it in the way of why. I think the main character that Ashley played was not very was a good idea on paper, but at the same time, I don't feel like she was fully thought out. Like this almost self-hating a black woman who can pass for being white in some places and, like, you know, hides her true nature because she doesn't want anyone to know that she has children from like a different sort of background, different relationship. She's in this rich town, and things like that. So I feel like that idea, you can really run somewhere nicely with that, especially with the kids coming back and finding her. But I didn't like the aspect of the kids, like the darker skinned kids being villainized and just kind of trying to ruin this woman's life when she ruined their lives, in my opinion, in terms of the way that they were telling the story. And I think maybe that compassion for that main character would have been there a bit more had we had more time with maybe her background or figuring out why she left and things like that. I was going to mention 65, but I think all the other movies I mentioned are far worse than that movie. But you guys know we did a review with Kenneth on the movie 65, and there was a lot wrong with it, but I still gave it a 2-star. I don't think it deserved a 1, but at the same time, there was a lot there that was a bit of a mess. I was hoping for a little bit more from a dinosaur movie, and probably to the surprise of no one, the worst movie, even though these were in no particular order, I'm gonna say this was the worst movie. The worst movie that I have seen this year is Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey. It was so questionable, and I knew the risk. I knew I contributed to it doing well because of like the money I paid to go see it. It was quite awful. There was nothing compelling about it. I didn't feel any sort of connection to the main characters. I didn't care about the villains. It was so dark 99% of the movie that I had no idea what was going on because I couldn't see. It just was an unenjoyable experience for me. Like, I know some movies are so good that they're bad, like I mentioned earlier, and I love movies like that. But for this one, it was just bad and just was just bad. It's just bad. So I don't know. I was hoping that there would have been some humor in there to balance it out. It just wasn't funny. I think the problem with this movie is that it took itself too damn serious. It was too serious for what it was doing. I didn't think that I don't think it knew exactly what it wanted to be. This movie can kick rocks, but it is absolutely the worst movie that I've seen of 2023 and probably of my entire life. I would not recommend watching this movie. But if that appealed to you, maybe go ahead and watch it and then let me know your thoughts. But yes, guys, that's all I have regarding movies that I've seen this year. But let me know your thoughts. What is the worst movie you've seen this year? Is it a superhero film? Is it a short indie film? Let me know. But yes, until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye!